Hello, everyone. Um, just before we get started, I just want to make sure that our audio is maybe more clear this month. I made a few changes. I'm still using our phone to stream, which I know is not ideal. But last month, with the fan going in the background, which I didn't really realize until the replay how distracting the fan was and how much it lowered the audio quality last month. So we did get some complaints after the fact about the audio quality last month. So I'm just trying to make some simple but hopefully substantial improvements to our audio quality. And
Julie BBB says, sounds great.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Julie BBB.
Thanks, Julie. All right, so let's see, we've got 8 people here, so good morning, everyone. Welcome. Let's see, what month is it? End of September. Here we are in September. This is our 9th monthly live stream.
We got some Halloween cookies at the grocery store yesterday.
Yeah, they actually had little jack-o'-lantern cookies. That was cute. All right. Well, how is everyone doing in the chat? Since we got started with record speed this morning, it's only 8:01 and we've already got everything good to go. How are y'all doing? How's everybody doing? End of summer, entering autumn. I've got a bunch of notes prepared, and we've also got some show and tell this month. We should at least keep you mildly entertained for the next 2 hours. Let's save the show and tell for a little bit later. Maybe more people will show up. Let's see. We've got... Oh, it's great from California. Nice to see you. You made it this month. Glad to see you here. And JNB says, hi from Brazil. Hello. You might be our first person to tune in from Brazil. Julie says, I was wondering if you have the ability to ship honey to the U.S. Yes, we get this question a lot. And actually, spoiler alert, but one of our show and tell items is some honey that was shipped to us from Australia. But I have been looking into shipping honey to the U.S. and it does seem possible, but it's going to take some test shipments on my part and also possibly some changes to the labels of the honey jars. So I looked into it, and honey is treated as both an animal product and also as a raw food product. So American imports look really closely at those items. And even if they're sent as a gift, from what I understand, because it is a food item, it would still have to meet the USDA or the US whatever is in charge of the food packaging labels. And our labels are designed to meet Japanese food packaging label standards. So I think it's like the exact same information, but some of that information on our labels is in Japanese and some of it's in English. So in order for it to meet American standards, I'm pretty sure I'd have to create some new labels. And then also there's the reason I want to do some test shipments is that I read that they could impose taxes or additional fees as it goes through customs, and then those would be payable on delivery by the person who receives the package. And I just want to make sure that something like that doesn't happen, because I would never want someone to place an order and receive some honey and then also get
the taxes on the receiver, the receiver's end, that we wouldn't know about.
Yes.
So
yeah.
That's why we want to do a test, is because we want to send it to someone who wouldn't mind possibly paying those extra fees, and we just want to know about them because we haven't done that yet.
Yeah. So a couple steps. We're looking at that possibly for next year. I'm probably not going to look into that for this year. So right now we are just selling our honey exclusively within Japan. And Jacqueline says, glad you are doing well. I'm fine. So we've got a nice little group here today. Anything
Yeah.
to add about the shipping?
Well, just our business consultant was floating the idea of us doing some exports of other products from Ehime Prefecture to the United States. He used to live in Portland, or he used to live in Vancouver. We're from Oregon originally, and so he has some connections with the prefectural government here in Ehime. So he's trying to set up something where we could get some small businesses that don't have a huge, production flow. Find some outlets for those in the United States. So if anyone out there is, looking for some particular products, so, some craft goods or some food items from down here in Ehime Prefecture, reach out to us and maybe we can work something out that way.
Yeah, we're definitely open to different business opportunities like that, and our consultant has brought it up a couple of times now, and it's something that I don't really have a clear picture of in my mind how that might look, but it's something that we are considering for the future. And Julie says the hardest part is being forced to go to the post office and wait in line for an hour to pick up a package that has fees due on it. Yeah.
The post office.
So we want to make sure and avoid anything like that before we start sending actual shipments.
My brother works for the post office, so I can't say anything bad about them.
And Pietro says, from Benton Homestead to the world. How exciting. Yeah, maybe someday. Apparently each country has their own rules for importing honey, which, not every country is going to have the same import standards. Some countries it's apparently fairly easy, such as our friend who sent us honey from Australia. She said it was pretty easy to ship from Australia to Japan. But she was picking up. Should we do the show and tell now? Should we start with that?
No, let's wait until we get some more people.
Okay. Hold that thought.
Yeah, America's just got a lot of weird rules, particularly with food and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember what the other countries were that were difficult to ship to, but apparently there's just all different rules, and America just happens to be one of the more complicated ones for shipping honey to.
You gotta add yellow number 5. You gotta make sure you got enough yellow number 5 or you can't sell in the United States.
Yeah. So I've got my kangaroo notebook with our notes here for the month. So as has been our routine, let's start by looking at what we've done for the past month. So since our last live stream, we've been busy, but it's been a different busy. So while the weather has only started changing to fall the last 10 days, which has been wonderful, our workload has been shifting to different gears for about the whole month. So honeybees are now mostly just monitoring through the hornet season. And we've also, under the topic of honey and bees, we've had 3 honey tasting events. So here on Omishima, there's lots of little festivals and little community events. Many of them are only in their first or second or third year, but spring and fall seems to be the season for all of these little markets, pop-up shops and things like that. And also the local farmers market, this is sort of their downtime because we're just on the verge of the citrus harvest beginning. And that's their big thing. So they've got, dozens of varieties of citrus available. So pretty soon the market is going to get filled up with all these different bins of all the different citrus that you can come by. But one day we were down there stocking honey on the shelves, and the manager asked Evan if we would do some tastings because they didn't have anything going on. They had no events for the month of September. And that's perfect for us because our workload is sort of shifting, and we happen to have one Saturday and one holiday Tuesday available on our calendar, and it was great. Do you want to talk about the honey tasting? Anything you want to say about... So we had a booth at the Shimanami Film Festival, which I only realized this was only their second year as well. So they're a new event. And then we had 2 honey tastings at the Michinoeki.
And the Michinoeki's main product is citrus. Ehime's main product is citrus, so that's just getting started. The early Mikan mandarin oranges just went on sale on the 26th, 2 days ago on Friday. And so they wanted us to fill in during the sort of off season for them, and now I guess citrus season is sort of starting there. And they had our honey on a table right in the middle of the place, so I think that helped with sales a lot, visibility and whatnot. And now we're over in the corner again, so I don't know if that's going to cause sales to drop off again, but
It's a different spot. It's sort of still in the middle because all their tables and all their displays are on wheels, so it's like an ever-changing market.
yeah.
It's really cool if you're in there to watch them like moving things around and preparing.
But we were saying good conversion rate, right?
Yes.
For tasting, I think 75% or 80% just eyeballing it. People who tasted our honey went on to buy our honey. Mm-hmm. So that's real good. So just standing there, you sell a lot of honey.
Yeah, people like talking to us, or they avoid eye contact. So over the 3 events, we sold 88 jars, and then at the film festival, we also offered horchata, and we sold 20 glasses of horchata and gave away quite a few as gifts.
Well, and I also think, I was expecting the omiyage market, buying gifts for your friends is a big tradition here in Japan, and so I was expecting that to be a big portion of our sales, and it turned out that yes, it is. Our small jars, 140 gram jars are,
Definitely.
selling the fastest for sure. And so I think we're gonna moving forward, we're gonna have a greater proportion of our jars being those little ones.
Yes, that's good information to have, and just I think our smallest 140 gram citrus honey jars, we've got some out in the store. We've got about 25 at the Michinoeki. Maybe with all the stores combined, we probably have 40 small jars out, and then we only have 35 left here in my office. So the citrus honey 140 gram jar, that's going to be our first one to sell out. So I expect that to happen in October. I think we'll sell out the citrus. So if you want the the perfectly sized 140 gram citrus honey jars, they are available on our website still. I think I updated the inventory this morning, so there's 30 available on the website, and of course they're available locally, but those are going to go soon. And speaking of honey inventory, we have sold 46% of our 2025 honey harvest. So moving up there. I don't know if we're going to have it sold by the end of December, like we were, just arbitrarily sort of like shooting for. But I'm positive that it'll all be sold before we start harvesting next spring. So it's pretty great. It's pretty awesome. It's happening. And the Michinoeki is a big part of that. And it's picking up. Sometimes we go down to check on the stock of honey a couple times a week. It's only a couple minute drive from our house. So we go down there and check, and sometimes I'm blown away, and I'll be like, oh, we sold 25 jars since the last time I checked. Of course, mostly the little ones. So then we have a fairly good stock of the medium, the large, and the extra large as well. And
tourism in general seems to be picking up on the island too, right? So you're going to talk about guest house figures here, but we're seeing a lot more tourists and a lot more shoppers in the Michinoeki in general. So.
Guest house, this is our 22nd month of operation, and once again, this is the highest income month in our small history. So we only have 4 dates in October that I'm not cleaning the guest house. So it's all one night turnover between 2 to 6 guests. So this is great. And last year, October, I believe, was our highest month of the year last year as well. So October is like peak tourist season here. So
definitely the nicest weather.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we're only 2 months away from doing a video covering the whole second year of the guest house. That was one of my favorite videos to make last year, was looking at our first 12 months of guest house, and here we'll be looking at months 13 to 24. So that'll be a fun video coming up. And the consultation portion of our business has dropped to 0 as expected. So this is, since we started offering consultation services, this is the first month that we've had no consultation clients. And we said last month that we completely expected that because of all the potential visa changes going on. Everyone's just pretty much putting all their plans completely on hold until the new announcements are made. So that's to be expected. I do have a few people I've been talking with who said they'll reach out once everything is official and they know what kind of game they're playing. So, but the visa stuff, I'm sure a lot of you are here for the visa stuff, and that'll most likely be the main topic of this video. So we'll get there in a sec. YouTube, last month we gained 80 new subscribers, and we now have 2 memberships. So we've got JJ Walsh, she was our very first member, and we also have Saab. He is our second member. He came in right after last month's live stream, I think. Now, both times we've got new members, YouTube didn't send me any sort of notification, so I only just happened to notice, so I apologize if I didn't say thank you right away, but that's cool. I don't really know what we're doing with the memberships. I just did a little bit of reading online and came up with the tiers. So if you have any suggestions or feedback as to how the tiers could be improved, either in price or in what each tier offers, I'm totally open to that because I really have no idea what we're doing. So I tried to make them somewhat enticing, and then a wide range of super affordable to superstar. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested, and I'm definitely open to feedback. We also got our K truck, had its Shotcan done. Do y'all know what that is? Go ahead.
Shotgun is the biannual inspection that's really expensive. Ours ended up being 80,000 yen, which is like, I don't know, $550. And they take your car in and just in our case, well, they do stuff just to make sure that it's roadworthy, so which is, I guess, nice. We ended up almost blowing a tire out right before the shotgun was due, so we ended up going to a tire store and getting all our tires replaced, which was pretty cheap. I can't remember how much it was, but it was cheaper than
It was just over $100 for a set of 4 K-Truck tires. It was really nice.
And so our shotgun was, I think it was like $400 US last time we did it, and it was more expensive because we had to have 2 brake pads. The brake pads on both front wheels replaced. So
I mistakenly call it a tax, and it's not really a tax. It's just a mandatory service of your vehicle every 2 years. Is that more accurate?
Yeah, it says it's an inspection. It's an inspection where they take your car and you get a sticker that says it's been inspected in the guy. So our car man on the island, he just came and usually he just calls you up and says, hey, it's time for that. But this time I was calling him because I was due for an oil change, and I called him for the oil change. He said, oh, are you calling about the shotgun? And I said, oh, well, that too. And so then we scheduled that. He came and picked it up. He drops off his vehicle for you to drive.
And he gives us a free loaner truck, which is awesome.
Yeah, and then the next day he came and brought our car back.
And his loaner has air conditioning.
Pretty deluxe.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've got 2 more people in the chat. FPC Football made it. He says, woo! And Prodigal Inc. says, hello. Nice to see you guys again. And one of the big things is that we completed the fiscal year 2 paperwork. Well, we didn't. Our accountant did but our fiscal year ended July 31st, and then we had to wait until the middle of August for some July payments to come in. So middle of August, he started working on the fiscal year completion and analysis, and now here it is the end of September, and over the course of the month he finished that. So it took about a month for him to do everything that he does, and he put together a complete report for us, and I should have got that booklet with all the receipts from the year neatly taped on the pages like a scrapbook. It's great. We've got a great accountant. We've got a great team. So we completed our fiscal year paperwork, and that was needed in order for our visa renewal. So that's been sort of the focus of our attention this month. So it's good that our workload has been shifting because we had some free time. And anytime our visa renewal is coming up, I'll get an email from our immigration lawyer requesting documents or new passport photos and that sort of thing. And it's good that we're able to just sort of drop everything and run out and go do that. Collect documents, go to the Family Mart, scan them, get them on PDFs, and then email them right back to the immigration lawyer. So he's doing his thing right now. We thought it might have been submitted yesterday, but I don't think it was. So he said last we spoke to him that the goal would be to have it submitted by the end of the month. So that's our new current trajectory. Originally, our plan was to submit in November because our visa is good until right around Christmas. But as soon as the potential changes got announced and then the date was released, as you all know, I'm sure you've been following the visa news. So we bumped it up to as early as possible.
Just try and sneak us in before the deadline, before the thing changes, so.
Yeah, so that's our current, we've had lots of meetings, we've had our, well gosh, I guess it's only been the last month really that we've been suddenly, planning all this and doing all this. So usually we spend a couple of months putting our application together, and this time we've really, we're just trying to get it in as early as possible. But I think all we can do is just put the best application together that we possibly can. So that's what we're trying to do. We are just really hoping that the friendly immigration employee who gets handed our file that morning and reads everything is having a good day and had a nice sandwich for lunch and and really gives a good look and possibly gives us 3 or 5 years. We don't know what the odds are of that, but that's really, really what we're hoping for. And we do have some exciting news that's like 99% official, but we decided that we're comfortable sharing it even though it's not quite 100%. It's not visa related, don't get super excited.
But it's going to help with our visa
application. It's going to help with our visa, and we are so happy that this came in. Was it yesterday morning? Or day before?
The day before, Friday.
Okay, so if you've been following for a year or over a year, we worked for a very long time with our business consultant to put together an application for a small business subsidy. And this subsidy was, originally it was a subsidy that happened quarterly. Every 3 months they would have a new deadline and then new winners. But when we went to apply, all of a sudden, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, it's just something behind the scenes was going on. It went from quarterly to it kept being pushed back to the next quarter and the next quarter and the next quarter. So we had our application ready to go for a number of months until they finally said, okay, now we are actually going to accept applications. And we submitted our application 20 months ago. And we just heard back, and we won.
Woo!
We did it, guys. So, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. I have, all of my monthly notes say, we're waiting on the subsidy results. We're still hoping for that. But I have not wanted to go into like super detail of what the subsidy was until we for sure got it. Because I didn't know, I didn't know what the odds were, or I knew we had a really good application, but I was sure that there was a lot of competition, especially because this is something that used to happen every 3 months, and then it had been so long, so I'm sure there were a lot of applications that had built up
Yeah.
in that time.
Well, and we did know one person on the island who had applied for it for a very similar thing, running a guest house and actually doing beekeeping and actually being foreign. And yeah, so we were a little bit. All we knew is that he had done it himself, and our business consultant, had done this for us. So.
And that application was not accepted.
And I accepted,
right?
yeah. That's
Yeah,
right,
yeah. So I didn't want to hype everyone up and get too excited and talk about all the details and then say, oh, well, we didn't get it. So now that we got it, we can tell you all about it. So it's already 8:30, so I don't want to go into too much detail this live stream. But basically, I'm going to make a whole video. We've got the application in Japanese and then an auto translate to English.
Can I subsidize it briefly?
Yes, please.
So it's the justification for the subsidy is that we're supposed to be increasing our income using this money. And so can I say the amount, or I don't know. Maybe I won't say the amount, but the way it works is they pay for 2/3 of the amount, so we're on the hook for the other third. So we're still needing to do some fundraising to come up with that bit. But basically, we're justifying it by saying we're going to increase our guests at the guest house from 6 maximum to 10 maximum. And we're doing that by increasing the size of the driveway. So it's now just a slope, and we're going to add in some parking spaces essentially there. And that's sort of a way. We also have some drainage problems there. We made some videos about where when it rains, when we get the torrential rain in the spring, sometimes it collects there, and we get some rain backing up into our garage. So they're going to fix.
Which will be the retro shop, because we've got
Yes.
a couple people saying, "Does this mean retro shop?"
Yeah, and so they're going to fix that and increase and enlarge the parking there, and then they're also going to add a second bathroom. Is the big thing that's going to help our guests have more comfort.
Second toilet room. They call them toilet rooms.
Okay, and then we're getting the final. Air conditioner in the kitchen in the common area, so that is going to help everyone be super comfy. Mm-hmm. And then that's the subsidy. And then the second part is we are also going to start renovating the garage in front of the guest house, not attached to the guest house. It really needs a new roof right now, and that's the first thing they're going to do. But that's not part of the subsidy.
So
That's
the only thing is that the roof is not part of the subsidy, because that's considered more like it's closer to repairs and maintenance, versus the point of the subsidy. I don't remember what the title of is completely, but it's the purpose of the subsidy is for new, existing small businesses to expand and increase sales or increase services. So you already have to be an existing business with plans for expansion.
It's your first year too, wasn't it? You had to apply your first year.
I think so.
We haven't ended up receiving the subsidy in the first year, but the application was in our first year, so.
Yeah. So for us, adding the second toilet room and adding the final 4th air conditioning unit in the kitchen is going to allow us to comfortably increase from 6 to 10 guests. And the toilet room is also going to serve as a pass-through secondary exit. It'll be it's in a room, it's a small room of the guest house that we have not renovated yet. So we've sort of been planning this from pretty early on, that would potentially be a second toilet room. And it's also going to be a side exit of the guest house, which later on will eventually become our barbecue and outdoor patio space. So, but for now, adding the second toilet room and adding the 4th and final air conditioning unit will allow us to comfortably increase from 6 to 10 guests. And then the drainage around the garage that they're going to fix, plus the driveway repairs, that's going to allow us to expand into the retro shop.
It's gonna add some parking spots.
Yeah, so it'll add parking spots and then also fix the drainage, because if the retro shop gets a couple inches of standing water once a year,
All the retro goods.
that's a
turn into-
no-go for antiques.
turn
Like
into
that.
retro mush.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. So the subsidy will cover 2/3 of the cost of that. So we went through this whole process of gathering quotes, and we had to go, we had classes with the local chamber of commerce to increase the amount that we would be eligible for. So this has been a really, really long process, and it's just super exciting that we actually got it. And we just got it days before our visa application goes in, which is probably like the most thing I'm excited about, because
It's another thing we can put on the application.
it's another thing we can put on the application. They just received municipal funding or municipal grant,
Government, yeah, it's government funding.
to expand our small business. So when the immigration person is reviewing our file, that's going to look really, really good for us. And I'm really hoping that might be something that pushes them over the edge from maybe just giving us 1 year to giving us a longer visa this time. So we can hope.
Yeah. And also on the subject of the retro shop, you didn't write down that we started the process of getting what's called the Kobutsu show, which is a licensed
That's
reseller
right. Yeah.
of antiques. Or anyway, so we had to go to the police station to do that, which is on the next island over. And we had to get something from our internet service provider, or from our web host.
We're
still not sure about that, but that started, and that'll be by the end of next month. That should be completed.
Yeah.
We were thinking it'd be nice to put that on our visa application, because our immigration lawyer recommended a long time ago, when we said we were going to start doing the retro shop. He's recommended that we get this so that we can sell like licensed goods and not get sued for that. But the application is just one thing about that is that it's got, you have to check what your main selling thing is, and it's like automobiles, or like photography equipment, or jewelry. So it's or artwork. So it's a lot more high end than we're thinking of doing. I don't know.
Abandoned stuff. There was no checkbox for abandoned stuff.
So I don't know how important it really is, but we're checking all our we're dotting all our I's and crossing our T's.
It's wild to me that it comes from the police department. And they have like documentation that they're going to require us to submit. But it was explained to us, so we are selling retro goods right now, a small amount, but those retro goods are our own personal items because they were included in our house purchase. So we are allowed to legally sell the items from our houses and anything given to us as gifts. However, this license that Evan has been applying for would allow us to then go purchase items from other people's abandoned houses or not abandoned houses. We could just essentially go purchase and then resell retro items. So that's what the license allows us to expand.
And we just got a super chat. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Very nice of you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So it's been a paperwork month. It's been a very, very paperwork heavy month, but it's very stressful with everything with the visa, but we are still trying to just be hopeful, and we're just going to keep working and just keep putting our best possible application together, which I think we've successfully done. It's been a few weeks just being stressed out and scared and, a little bit hopeless for a while there, feeling like there was not going to be any way out of this. And then we just, me more so than Evan, am feeling like, well, all we can do is just keep hope and keep working. And so the last month has sort of been that shift and mindset, and just working on our application despite what may happen in the next few weeks with the visa changes. So let's get to that. Julie, thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. Appreciate that very much.
Okay, you want to do show and tell?
Yes, let's do show and tell real quick.
Real quick.
Okay. Unless, well, let's just say, because it's 8:30 already, if we have any specific visa questions coming in, please feel free to ask those. And so we'll just sort of bounce back and forth between what we have to talk about and then answering your questions. So,
It's not letting me like your super chats, Julie. Don't be offended.
oh, you can't like them?
Wait, maybe that works. Nope, it's not letting me do it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Julie. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Those abandoned items are called antiques, aren't they?
I guess so. I think there's a differentiation. Are antiques over 100 years old? There's like a qualification for vintage, for retro, then vintage, then antique. I'm not sure. I think retro is like is 20 years ago. Vintage is, I don't know.
I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. Julie says, I still can't figure out how to change the amount, so sorry for the double tap. Oh, that's fine. Thank you so much. Awesome. Why don't you go ahead and do show and tell?
Okay, show and tell. First, I'm going to show this. Can you guess what it is? Anybody?
Any guesses? No guesses yet.
No.
Give him a minute.
Okay, well, I made it out of just scrap from the honeybees, except for this thing was something we had lying around, this piece of wood. Flyer folder, good guess. I'm just going to tell you, it's a tortilla press, guys. It's for making tortillas. You put a ball of masa in here, and you squish it, and this just gives you leverage. And I need to put some legs on the bottom, because when it folds down, you see how that sticks down there, the little doohickey there, and but yeah, and I put floor wax on it, because this is like cedar. It's really soft wood, so the floor wax keeps it harder from getting dinged up, and it doesn't actually come in contact with the food.
Beeswax.
No, that would have been cool, but
Oh.
beeswax is a lot harder, like the floor wax, which we actually found in a abandoned factory here or warehouse. And it smells nice, but it doesn't come in contact with the food. You actually put a little liner in before you squish the tortillas. So I've been making a lot of tortillas, making a lot of tacos. It's been pretty good. So
It's been fabulous. It's been fabulous.
We're putting effort into getting the eventual taqueria up and running.
So let's see. Bosco, it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I bought the tortilla press, and it was actually concave like this. Bosco, should I go get him? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Dog.
He'll calm down.
I bought a tortilla press, and it was concave like this, so the resulting tortillas were thicker in the middle, so it just didn't work at all. So I had to make one.
Yeah. Well, the one you bought was what? How much did it cost?
Yeah, not expensive, but
$20 or something. Okay, so we got some comments. Big Chuck's Ostrich Farm is here. Just got here. Really rooting for you guys with immigration. Thank you. Hope so too. Hope for ourselves and everyone else in the same situation. And Prodigal Link says, yummy square tortillas. Tell them how they turn out.
Har, 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 Prodigal Ink. Okay.
They're perfectly round. They come out perfect. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
You should have had a tortilla example here to show them.
Next week, yeah.
And FBC Football says neat.
Yeah, well, we need a flat top now, right? Because I can make, this just like this just cranks out the tortillas, but then you have to actually cook them, and that takes time. So I can only cook one tortilla at a time, and that is the bottleneck currently. So if I could cook like 8 at a
You
time,
get like a pancake grill, that'd be perfect, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
oh lordy.
Now what else do you have?
So we got a gift honey from Australia from our friend Carolyn. Who's not,
I'm gonna go see what he's upset about. You can run the show and tell.
okay, we got a shipment of honey from Australia
Let's go. Come on.
to sample. So thank you very much, Carolyn. She says, "Dear Danny and Evan, I hope this finds you well. I have enjoyed watching your journey on YouTube." Bosco.
I got it.
Since you arrived in Japan, my dad is a retired amateur beekeeper, and bees have been a part of our lives for decades. I hope you enjoy these samples of Aussie honey. Kind regards from Carolyn. And we sure will, Carolyn. Thank you very much. So these aren't her hives, but so it's 5 different varieties of honey. And I think let's do a video and test these out later on camera. That'll be neat.
That'd be great.
So we got some ironbark honey, blue gum. Oh, I don't know. It's hard to see on camera. From Barenberg in the Adelaide Hills. So pink gum honey. Yellow box. I think that's another eucalyptus. And the famous Manuka honey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Capilano. So yeah, super cool. Excited to try all these. So I think 3 of these are eucalyptuses, as we call them outside of Australia. And I started those from seed last year, but only a couple of them sprouted, and those didn't make it. So I think I'm going to try those again this year. We've got one, buddy. We've got one Manuka honey tree actually growing in the lady's yard who rents us one of our apiaries. So I know that Manuka trees grow quite well here. We'll probably need a couple more 40 acres to actually get a crop off of them, but it's pretty neat. So thanks a lot for sending that,
Thank you
Carolyn.
so much. Yeah, we will make a video tasting it. I thought it was going to be 5 of the same jars, so I was really surprised. We only just opened the box this morning. It arrived a few days ago. So it's 5 different honeys to taste test. That'll be really fun. So let's see, next month. So our next live stream will be the end of October. So forecasting what we're going to be doing between now and then is just hopefully surviving. The guest house is just going to be an everyday thing. So that'll be guest communication that happens every day. Making dinner reservations for guests, answering their questions. Sometimes they have luggage forwarded, working on, we'll send them checkout information, and we personally greet each guest, so each guest has a different arrival time, and, just being very flexible in the afternoons, because guest check-in is anytime after 4. But if you're arriving on bicycles, some guests leave really early to beat the heat, and then they want to check in early, and, there's a lot to hosting, and
Here's Bosco.
we take hosting very seriously, and it's really fun to meet people and help them plan their trips. So not only just, it's not just like, oh, the guest house is busy because it's cleaning every day, but it's just having a new group almost every single day of October is just a lot of communication and logistics and stuff as well. So that's what keeps us busy. Big Chuck's Ostrich Farm has a question about the honey.
I wonder if the eucalyptus honey will have some of the eucalyptus spicy flavor tones.
Oh, interesting.
Our neighbor had some spicy honey. Yeah, where are you again?
He's
Big Chuck?
in California, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of eucalyptus down there. I think that's the blue, which I don't remember. I looked at those when I was buying seeds to see which ones are honey sources and which are not, because there's like hundreds of eucalyptus plants, right? And only a fair deal of them have honey, but
Then hopefully in October we're going to receive a visa response. We looked back at the timing of our last 2 business manager visa applications, and the first time we received a response, well, it was less than a month. I think it was 3 weeks, and then the second time we received a response in 2 weeks. And both times our immigration lawyer had prepared us for the possibility of it taking a couple of months. But we always got responses super fast. And he suspects, again, that we'll get a super fast response. So we are hoping that if we get our application submitted before the end of September, that we will receive a response from immigration in October. Also, at the same time, as we all know, that's when the official new business manager visa changes are going to be announced. So immigration, I believe, so the public opinion period ended September 24th, and immigration is now taking the time to go through all of the comments that they received during that time, and decide whether or not they're going to make any amendments to their proposed changes. Maybe they will make them less, maybe they will make them more strict before the official announcement. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes right now. I believe what the eGov website said is that the changes would be announced early October and then implemented mid-October. So this is all happening at the same time as our own visa application is being submitted and reviewed. So October is still going to be a stressful month in that regard. So we are just hoping for the best. Big Chuck's Ostrich Farm says, yes, California, the eucalyptus trees fill with monarch butterflies every year. Nice.
Yeah, and we don't have monarchs, as I'm sure you know. We have swallowtails that are really beautiful. But I do have some tropical milkweed planted as a pollinator. I don't know if bees really go for that, but I kind of include the butterfly food as also pollinators. And that's what the tropical, no, what are they called? The hairy balls. That's what the hairy balls are for. They're very similar to a milkweed, but they're actually from South Africa. And Bosco just peed all over my seedlings and killed a bunch of them.
Oh, I thought you meant right now. I was like, what?
No.
Oh, no. You had seedlings planted?
Well, I still have some seedlings, but he killed about half of them.
Oh, okay. All right. And the other thing we'll be doing in October is, of course, since we just received the subsidy, now we will begin planning our construction schedule and how we can fit that around reservations that we have. We have until July 31st of next year to complete the proposed construction of our accepted subsidy application and also submit a report. And July 31st happens to be the end of our fiscal year. So we have until the end of our 3rd fiscal year to complete all of everything in this application, plus submit a report. And I think we'll have it done well before then, because we are planning on hopefully doing most of it during January and February, especially when the guest house is the slowest. Otherwise, we're going to be working around reservations because we can only do the construction when we don't have guests, and we've got a lot of guests. So hopefully January and February will be construction months, which we thought was going to be last winter, but it's going to be this winter. So it just shifted by a year. So last winter we shut down for all of February, and then we ended up just doing the bathtub and a bunch of small things because we hadn't received the subsidy as planned. So just shift that forward a year, and that's gonna be this winter. And then also a small note that I do want this fall and winter, my focus on YouTube is going to change from just we've been so busy, and so a lot of our videos are just following us around, and we make it's been each step of the bees and the events and that sort of thing. My focus for YouTube videos this fall and winter is going to be more education and process videos, and I know I've said that a few times, but these videos take definitely the most amount of time prior to filming. to write things out and numbers and data and all the kind of stuff that I like and that you guys seem to like. So I've got a long list of video ideas, such as step-by-step getting our Japanese driver's licenses, the whole subsidy experience and application. I've got one that I really want to make about the guest house being a former Akiya, managing guest expectations and maintaining almost 5 stars, 10 out of 10 reviews, despite being a formerly abandoned house. Of course, we're going to have a visa renewal update video, a detailed look at fiscal year 2 and projections for fiscal year 3, and then the whole guest house second year in review, and then also possibly one on just step-by-step everything that you need for owning a vehicle in Japan. So that's just a small portion of my video ideas. But fall and winter will be focused more on the education and the process, step-by-step videos. And I think that's it. That's it for our wrap-up. We're at 8:50, so just under an hour. We've answered a couple questions. We've looked at last month. We've looked at next month. So the main topic of the video, of course, is probably going to be visa questions, visa renewal questions. We don't have many more answers than we did last month. I was really proud of everyone last month for the positive and helpful discussion that we had. We didn't have any issues like I was afraid we might have with, obviously we have a lot of stress and concerns about these changes, and by we I mean everyone. But we're coming together here. We're using this live chat as an opportunity for all of us to come together and talk. And I laid out a bunch of ground rules before last month's chat, and everyone really stuck to them. So it didn't turn into a garbage fire. It didn't turn into a heated political discussion. Do we have any initial questions? Any sort of, initial sort of ideas or suggestions or thoughts or anything regarding the upcoming business manager visa changes?
Yeah, well, it makes sense that it's going to be slow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not a lot of questions because I think everyone's figured out where they stand in terms of what we know, So we're just kind of waiting. Everyone's just kind of waiting, holding pattern. Mm-hmm. We're not going to talk about the politics of it, but of course, probably most people here know that the Prime Minister resigned basically over the immigration issue. So that is the type of thing that is going on in the background with the Japanese government.
Mm-hmm. FBC Football says everything is just on pause for now.
Yep, everything's just on pause for now. Our life is pretty much on pause. I mean, we're doing our best to keep moving forward with this stuff. But
Saab joined us. Saab, you missed my shout out earlier in the video. I said thank you for being our second member. So glad you made it this month.
Yeah, thanks, Saab.
And I mentioned, since you missed it earlier, YouTube actually didn't send me a notification for our first or second member. So I'm sorry that I didn't say thank you right away. I just happened to notice that you had joined a membership level. So thank you so much, and glad you're here in the chat. Appreciate having you around. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
I don't remember what I was saying.
You were talking about the visa and the...
Yeah, I was just saying everyone's on hold for now, so...
Yeah, that makes sense. We had a lot of questions last month because it was still unfolding, and now it's just, we had the whole public opinion period. Did anyone submit public opinions? Did anyone go to the eGov website and submit their opinion about the business manager visa changes? That could be something. We could read Peter's. I thought that was written really well.
Yeah.
Sort of as like a basis for discussion. Let me pop over and find I posted this on our posts tab, is that what it's called? Yeah. But just for those of you who didn't read it, and just for the purpose of discussion, let's go through.
Yeah, don't read the whole thing.
So a lot of people ask me for sample ideas for a public opinion and what to submit. And a lot of people sent me their opinions and just said, this is what I sent. So it is cool, like, being, I like having this community. A lot of people send me information, and then I can send that information back out to you guys. It's kind of cool being like a small hub of communication as far as Japan immigration goes. So our neighbor and friend Peter, who we've befriended over the last year or two since he purchased a property on Hakata Island next door, he wrote a really nice, I thought, opinion that he submitted to immigration. So I'll just go through real quick. Although I am not a visa holder myself, I have a long-standing connection in Japan. I am a Danish citizen and have been a resident of Thailand for many years. I'm the owner of a company that manufactures bicycle components and have maintained a commercial relationship with a Japanese distributor since 2012. In 2023, I purchased a house on Hakatajima in Ehime Prefecture, where I now spend extended periods as a holiday resident. My interest in this issue arises from personal investment, regional ties, and concern for others who are directly affected. Among them are my friends Danny and Evan Benton, who together have built and operate Benton Guesthouse on Omishima, the neighboring island. Evan is the holder of a business manager visa and is one of only 51 such visa holders in all of Ehime Prefecture. He began on a startup visa issued by Imabari City in 2022 and transitioned to business manager in 2023. Over the past 3 years, Evan and Danny have invested heavily, not only financially, but also socially, in their business and local community. They've contributed meaningfully to the island's economy and social fabric. Under the proposed changes, including an increase in required capital from 5 to 30 million yen, and a requirement to employ full-time Japanese staff, Evan would not qualify to remain. According to available figures, 96% of current business manager visa holders in Japan would similarly be unable to meet these conditions. This is not a matter of administrative adjustment, it is a threat to the livelihoods and stability of nearly all small-scale foreign entrepreneurs who followed the rules and invested in Japan in good faith. My strongest objection lies with the apparent intention to apply these new rules retroactively. Individuals like Evan, who fulfilled all requirements at the time of entry and worked hard to establish a legal business, would now be penalized for conditions they could never have anticipated. Such policy changes would not only displace individuals, but fundamentally damage trust in Japan's legal and regulatory consistency. He goes on to talk about how it would disproportionately harm rural areas, which I think is a great point. And then says, of course, if the government wishes to raise entry standards for future applicants, that's their sovereign right. However, retroactive enforcement must not be a part of that change. I just thought, there's more to his letter, but I just thought it was really respectfully written and really covered like all the main topics. The issue with the business manager visa being taken advantage of seems to mostly be an issue in the big cities. And, our prefecture that we live in has only 51. So Evan plus 50 other people in all of Ehime Prefecture have a business manager visa out of 40,000. So, that's a lot of what I wrote in my public opinion, was focusing on the rural areas and how Japan has made it their focus to try and revitalize the rural areas. They know the countryside is shrinking, and so many of the businesses in our area are mom and pop shops. It's just like us, it's just husband and wife, Japanese people who run their entire business without staff. And so my public opinion focused mostly on how it would disproportionately affect rural areas, which Japan is trying to revitalize. So,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
just wanted to read that letter, and we've got a couple of comments. Julie says he writes a great letter. I think so too. Sob said thanks for the shout out. You're welcome. And Prodigal Inc. says kind of crazy how so many of the current holders won't be eligible under these new proposed rules.
Yeah, 96% won't be eligible, right?
According to what has been released in
That was like the news, whatever, Japan Times or something.
Yeah.
Reporting that.
Yeah.
When we first started through this process with the business manager visa, I really felt like we were trying to shoehorn in, something that wasn't really what the program was designed for. But as we've been doing the consulting, that's precisely the type of business that people are trying to start here. It's basically all been like just like us, husband and wife, people trying to come in and start a
Rural businesses.
yeah,
mostly.
well,
Not
we're
all
in a
of them,
rural
but
area,
yeah.
but so we had some guy who wanted to build guitars here. We have had a couple people who want to start coffee shops here, coffee roasteries here, and we've had a lot of like tourism type of businesses.
There was a woodworker and wanted to do like composting and
Yeah. We know. Yeah. Well, anyway, so they're all like just like kind of mom and pop rural businesses that are trying to get started in Japan, and so like whatever you design the program for, whatever you design the government program for, you have to be responsive to the applicants who actually want to use that program, right? And so I definitely agree that it's worth reconsidering this program and sort of like making it more making it more applicable to both the needs of the government, which are being demonstrated quite eloquently by what's going on, and also to the needs of the applicants, right? So, let's see. FBC Football says, I just don't get how they want people to come do agriculture and hire a full-time staff when you can literally do rice farming alone. Well, and no young Japanese people want to get into farming. That's a couple of good points. We didn't mention, but we did some rice farming this month too. Forgot to mention that. We participated in the harvest with Fujita-san and his family to do some harvesting some heirloom rice varieties. That was really cool. They've been
super cool.
and we did help plant them too back in the spring or early summer.
I think we mentioned it.
So
they do it all like natural.
So he's got 3 different heirloom varieties. I think 3 or 4 that he's that they've been saving the seeds from, that they've got from different places. And so there was a couple that we were able to sow and harvest by machine, and the one that I did like just last week, I think, was having to cut them with a sickle and then bunch them up and make them into bundles and hang them on the big bamboo structure to dry. So because the issue is that with the old varieties of rice, they get so tall that they just flop over when they're done and when they get rained on. So, but so you definitely can't do that alone. You can do the
Bosco, come here.
the machine harvested stuff,
Come here, Bosco.
which you can do a rice farming alone. But I don't know if you would really want to. And
Well, and he says
yeah,
he didn't mean alone. He says alone as in the neighbors help each other.
right.
Not,
Right. Yeah, but also the issue is, this is a big, and this is something that I wrote in my letter, is that food security is also a national security concern, and our business consultant in our original startup visa application, and then in this current subsidy application that he just submitted, he mentioned that Japan only produces 5% of its honey. And because of that, they're bringing in honey from mainly China, which is all full of who knows what, But this is if you're looking at taking care of your maintaining your borders, if you're looking at that being a national security concern, well, what about the stuff that's coming in through those borders? What about the food that your citizens are consuming? Looking at the health concerns there too, and making sure that those health concerns are met, and the whole ecosystem and et cetera, et cetera. And I do feel that this business manager visa is just not designed for farmers. It just doesn't really work for farmers, and it would really behoove the Japanese government to take a look at that and look at ways to bring in farmers to come in and revitalize these areas. So that's a huge problem that they have. That is, we're trying to address. Like, let's be honest. This is what we're doing here. We're trying to grow food in a rural environment, and we're trying to revitalize not just the landscape but also the community. So how do we do that?
I gave him another treat.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, another thing Bosco reminded me of is another piece of news we have from this month is Kokichi found a foster home.
Yeah.
So we're getting some signs that our doggos are going out into the world and finding homes. That's fun.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, we started working on there. Omishima has one dog rescue because we have so many wild dogs on the small island called Wan no Wa Dog Rescue. And we connected with them pretty early on after we moved here. We started catching puppies, including Bosco, and they catch and rehome many puppies. And let's see, we've caught, I think, 9 puppies, including Bosco, and then we got Bosco's grandmother spayed before she escaped again, and then also 2 cats. And there's 3 young adult dogs at the Wanowa Rescue that were caught as older puppies, and then nobody wanted them. So there's 3 dogs that have made it to young adulthood. 2 of them we caught in our neighborhood last fall, I think. They're a year.
The last ones we caught were last fall.
Yeah. And so now
Kokichi was one of those.
Kokichi was one of those, and so now 2 of the 3 that we caught that were older puppies, they were probably 3 months old already. 2 of them are now at long-term foster homes, so they're able to be in a home environment. I don't think either one has said yet that they're going to permanently adopt them, but they've agreed to a long-term foster. So that leaves 2 young adult dogs at the Wanowa Rescue, and so we go clean kennels and socialize them with Bosco now every Saturday. We bring Bosco with us, and it's been good for Bosco and good for them. If anyone in Japan would like a long-term foster of a scared but very sweet young adult foster dog, we've got the connection for you. They do adopt them locally, but then they also do take them far reaches of Japan as well. So let us know if you're looking to adopt a dog.
Big Chuck says, in the U.S., most agriculture harvesting is contracted work, not full-time. Without dramatically increasing food prices, it's not viable to hire full-time. Exactly what we're considering with this visa change, right? And one of the things that's evident with us shoehorning our sort of dream into this visa is that we're doing all these different things. We never intended to be more than just us. We never intended to hire employees, and so we're doing so many things just between the 2 of us. And in order to hire an employee, it would have to be them doing so many things too, right? So cleaning the guest house and working with honeybees, and so on and so forth. It's just not really reasonable to ask of a single person. And then furthermore, the honeybee season is May through July. That's when I really could use an extra set of hands, but the rest of the year there's not a lot to do. So it's a struggle. We really would like to hire 2 part-time employees. We would really like to hire someone to clean the guest house and then someone to help us harvest honey. But the way the business visa is set up, that's not I don't know if we can do that. So if we knew that this was going to happen, we would have chosen a more streamlined business model. That is for sure. And so then Julie says Japan is not the only country trying to recruit farmers, so they would do well to set up a good system now instead of later. And yeah, so the agricultural world is coming around from the sort of just plug and play model of the green revolution that was developed in the 1960s, with everything being mechanized and based on chemical fertilizers, where you just have to put a bunch of money up front and then you're sort of guaranteed a return. It's now moving towards more of like an artisanal type of a thing. And yeah, that's going to be more competitive, I think, is what Julie is hinting at there. And it would be good for, it would be good for countries to view farmers as like a skilled worker, that are worth attracting.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, I'm just realizing now that I think the delay on our stream is a lot longer than it usually is. I think it's delayed by about 3 or 4 minutes. It's usually only like 10 seconds or so. So I'm not sure what happened. So if we're not responding to your chat immediately, I think we've got a couple of a minute difference between what we're saying and what you're seeing. So hi, Janae. I'm glad you made it. We're not wearing your PongCon shirts today, but they're in the laundry. We wear them all the time. Okay, so what now?
Janae, we got a lot of people who want to buy your shirt, so.
Yes, I have it on my calendar that I want to, I need to put a link in my stories or make a post about it so people can buy them from your store until we get some here in person on Omishima. Because the farmers market has also asked us to sell t-shirts there. Everybody loves the citrus theme, and then also the PongCon. But in the meantime, we will direct them directly to janaecreates.com, I think. Is that your website? And you can buy your PongCon shirts directly from the illustrator.
She says heart, 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 thumbs up.
Thumbs up. All right. Big Chuck's Ostrich Farm says people love odd-looking heirloom produce at farmers markets. Yeah, I wonder if that's a difference between America and Japan, because that's absolutely true at American farmers markets. But here they like pristine-looking produce.
Well, I think he means unusual. I don't think he means like,
Well, yeah, like...
I think that's true.
You think so?
It's just that in Japan they use a lot of packaging for everything. Mm-hmm. I think that the biggest... So I said earlier, I think on a live stream many months ago, and I regret it, that there wasn't as much of a need for organic produce here because there's things like the farmers market that we participate in. And even at the grocery store, everything is local, which is really great. But they are using a ton of pesticides and things on them. So there is a huge need for the actual distribution system in Japan, and that all needs to be built out. And I mean, again, that's good. That is going to be a competitive market going forward, job market going forward, where there's a lot of solutions that need to be brainstormed and bootstrapped, as the kids say. I think it was the first time I've ever said that word. Yeah, but so looking forward, and seeing the problems that we are facing here, and the fact that the solutions are not really forthcoming, I am looking at ways that we can scale our business, and I'm thinking about changing our business model and changing the types of things that we like produce and sell, because I'm specifically trying to employ more people, which again we employ 0 people right now. But I'm thinking about that,
I'm thinking long term, guys.
Yeah.
Long term. Our business plan goes 5 to 10 years into the future, so we're always thinking about next year and the next and the next.
Yeah.
Once we get the hot sauce branch of the business going, the taco stand. Tell him your name for the taco stand.
Don Bosco.
Don Bosco.
This guy with the sombrero.
Bosco with a sombrero selling you tacos. What's not to love? Is it going to be Benton Homestead's Don Bosco hot sauce too?
Yeah. I don't know. That's your job.
Okay.
That's your
I'll
job.
come up with the branding.
Tacos.
Tacos. I mean, if you've been to Omishima, if you've been to this area, it's very like beach vibes, you know, retro style, slow life beach vibes. And I really think that tacos and micheladas, the empanadas were successful. We just made way too many of them. Bosco, you're being really, really annoying and needy right now, buddy. What else are we planning on making? What else would go over well? Well, the horchata, micheladas, tacos. It'd do great. Can you picture a little beach taco stand or food cart or something like that? Can't wait. So that's a year or two down the road. I'm not gonna say too far down the road. We gotta figure that out.
Big Chuck is your oldest male ostrich. I thought you were Big Chuck. Okay, sorry. Tacos are more colorful than empanadas.
I thought they Big Chuck is the ostrich. Okay.
Yeah. Julie, when we were in Mexico, one of the coolest things in Mexico, empanadas are made using flour, wheat flour, and we went to a couple of towns that had a strong Welsh influence because they had imported some Welsh silver miners back in the day. So they had a tradition of pasties that they call pastes in Spanish, and those were great. And so it's like a puff pastry dough with like a ton of different fillings.
Bosco, come here.
And those were super good. So we did cornmeal empanadas, which I know are more like, I don't know, South American, Central American. And I just did that because we didn't have the capacity to make tacos. We didn't have the capacity to make tortillas. But
We didn't have a tortilla press.
now we do. And so, yeah, we can make a bunch of tortillas ahead of time, keep them in a little cooler, and dispense the tacos, and that'll be great. And yeah, so we need a grill, komao, teppan in Japanese, and we need some cilantro. It's very hard to find cilantro. I've had one link that we might be able to find a farmer in Imabari City that grows cilantro, but we can grow it ourselves. But we need to also invest in some maybe shade cloth covers and get a place going. I think that's probably something we're going to be doing, is setting up like a permanent cilantro
And
garden.
avocados.
We do have avocados.
We got tomatoes and tomatillos already. Onions we're working on. What else do we need? Garlic. Working on that. Did you tell him you brought the tlayudas ingredient?
No.
Tell him about that.
Well, no one, even in Mexico, they don't know what tlayudas are. Tlayudas are Oaxacan. Coco Lencho is growing cilantro.
Is he? Cool.
Yeah,
I
he's
gotta
growing.
catch up on his videos. We went and visited him recently, a couple of months ago now, I guess. Time goes by really, really fast, but didn't realize he was growing cilantro. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've planted cilantro and grown it several times, so I know there's some just coming up in our beds, but yeah, I need to do another row of it. Get started. We've had some rain, so now's a good time.
Mm-hmm. Big Chuck says if they end up in Japan, we'll have to make tacos using ostrich meat.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, our island is known for the Inoshishi wild boar meat, but sure.
Yeah, I've only had ostrich once at a state fair, Oregon State Fair. I had some ostrich, like a summer sausage. It was real good, but I'm sure it didn't capture like the ostrich flavor.
Oh, you missed some comments here, or maybe I was taking care of Bosco.
Yeah.
Sob says you need a plushie of Don Bosco. Absolutely.
Yeah, Janae,
He'll
work
be our
on it.
mascot. Get Janae to work on it, yeah.
Oh, didn't you have those little pins that you got from your friend?
I already gave him his gifts.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. And FEC Football says, K-Truck vinyl wrapped like the dog van from Dumb and Dumber. That is a great visual, but I already want our K-Truck to be vinyl wrapped as a honeybee. So we'll see. It's kind of nice right now having a nondescript white K-truck, so we can just completely blend in with the 1,000 other nondescript white K-trucks on the island. But I think a honeybee would be real cute.
Maybe with a sombrero.
Yeah, everybody loves the taco idea. Like, when we say, yes, you know, guest house first, and then we get the honey established and going, and then our long-term plan includes hot sauce and tacos, everybody just loves that idea. Foreigners and our Japanese neighbors. Everybody loves the idea. There's already a community of, like I was mentioning earlier, we've got the festivals, there's a lot of pop-up restaurants. We've got a friend of ours, Mashi, does the jerk chicken pop-up at least once a month. They call them kitchen cars here, what we would call a food cart in the US, but they actually drive them around, so food carts aren't stationary. Oh no.
It's okay.
Are we still streaming?
Yes, we're still streaming.
Okay. So food carts here are actually used as vehicles and driven to different events, instead of being parked somewhat permanently in a food cart pod. So there already is that culture here, so just adding a taco truck into the mix, I think, would be a real success. But for us, it's just a matter of, you know, getting to that point, getting the funding for it. We need a commercial kitchen to make the hot sauce. We have to import and or grow our own peppers, and that would definitely require another employee, either to, you know, if we had an employee to do the guest house cleaning, then I continued to do all the communication and greeting of guests. Or if we had an employee to help Evan with the bees, or at least seasonally during the harvest, or if we had an employee to focus on the hot sauce and, you know, mentor under Evan and make the hot sauce the way that he wants it. And then once we get that going, we could have an employee working on the hot sauce, or an employee to, you know, run the taco stand. So if we do end up being required to have an employee, and if we do somehow miraculously meet the new business requirements, visa requirements, if they are retroactively implemented onto us, then, you know, we do have ideas for how to utilize the employee if we're able to meet all the other requirements. Oh, and that is one thing I wanted to mention is, from the last live stream, they have added another potential new visa change. So in addition to increasing, and all of this is potential, nothing is official yet, but in addition to increasing from 5 to 30 million yen, requiring a full-time Japanese national or permanent resident employee, and the requirement of either they said a master's degree or a degree specific to the business that you're running, or 3 years of business manager experience. So those are their like potential main new changes to the visa.
Is it a master's degree in business or related to the field that your business is in? Is that what you said?
I believe so.
Or
I
is
have
it
to
you
double
can get
check.
an MBA or a bachelor's in a related field?
I would have to double check the wording. I don't have it written down right in front of me. So in addition to that, they also added a potential language test requirement, and they're sort of lumping that in with the employee as a way out if the business manager themselves does not speak Japanese. I found it very confusing that they're not using Japan's own JLPT language test level for this requirement. Instead, they've potentially opted to use the CEFR, which is a European Japanese language test, and the two tests don't line up exactly. So we all know the big news last month was that Evan passed the JLPT N2 level, which is the second from the highest. However, the CEFR that they're proposing that they implement, B2, so confusing. The B2 and the N2 don't quite line up. They're not just an exact, whatever the word is. You can't. They're not the exact equivalent. So Evan's passing N2 score is not quite enough to achieve the CEFR B2 score. So there's about a 10-point difference there. And unfortunately, Evan's N2 does not quite meet that. So what they've potentially said is, well, if the business manager themselves does not have the CEFR B2 Japanese language level, then the employee can have that level. So, oh, hello.
Matt H says, good morning. Would you consider moving to another part of Japan if it meant having your visa renewed and staying in Japan? It depends on who's asking, Matt. If you have any leads for us, we'd consider it. Our business is just not very mobile. Our assets are our guest house and our fields. I mean, our honeybees, we could move them. People do move honeybees, but we aren't hoping to. So yeah, it would be hard for us. We would consider moving anywhere south of here. Nowhere colder. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we've
hard.
built everything. I mean, obviously, our guest house is here. Our house is here. Our community is here, and our business is. We had a general business idea when we started, and then we've really sort of tailored that to meet our very specific community and have become, we put down roots here, and our business plan is flexible based on the needs of our specific community.
And the consulting we do is all local to the Shimanami Kaido, so we would not do. I mean. If we were to move, it would be a lot of changes and redoing a lot of stuff that would be hard to do. But I mean, we could, it would just be a lot. That'd be a lot. I mean, technically, we could still maintain the guest house. We could still operate this guest house remotely. We've talked about if we lose our visa, and we have to leave Japan, we could still operate the guest house. We could remodel our house into more rental units and have a big source, a nice source of income from Japan, even if we were living outside of Japan. So, we could do that, but the agriculture is what we want to be doing. So that doesn't really make sense for us. But if you got any leads, we're open. And
we're open to ideas, but I would say, worst case scenario, I would rather leave Japan than rebuild in a different part of Japan. Almost. I'm not saying that for sure, but
yeah.
If we're absolutely talking doomsday scenario, we can't stay and our visa doesn't get renewed, I don't know. We're not really thinking about that kind of scenario, just because it's so emotionally draining during an already stressful time.
It's bordering on stuff that we don't want to talk about in this channel, but
in my brain. I don't want to talk about it inside my own brain.
Yeah, suffice to say, I don't know. Matt, do you have any reasons why we would move? Because I don't see the issues that we're facing being different in any part of Japan, and I'd like to hear if you have anything else to say about that.
It was just a thought.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay, just curious. Yeah, I didn't know, because some people will ask questions like that and say, oh, well, we could potentially hire you to do this or something in a different part of Japan, so I didn't know if you actually had a lead or something. But
yeah, Coco Lencho mentioned that we could get a job on the military base there.
Yeah, he did say, he said it's pretty easy to get a job on the base, which is just a couple hours from us, 2 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But we're not even really entertaining, worst case scenario things at this point.
Yeah. See, Matt, the issue is our Imabari City has just been fantastic with us. The region, and yes, and we here in Omishima are in dire need of rebuilding as well. It might be a little bit different from some places that are more dire because there is some rebuilding going on here, you know. So but that's why we want to be here specifically. One of the reasons is that we actually can see that we're part of this effort to rebuild it, you know. And we sort of like gripe about how many other people are opening up guest houses here when there's already, it seems, plenty of guest houses, and we really need there to be more restaurants and just other services for, you know. So we're really, but we have friends who run who run restaurants. Our friend Tamayo, just up the street from us, we are sending her tons of customers here, and we send customers. You know, we make reservations for all the restaurants, so we know that the restaurants are very happy to have us. You know.
I mean, the saying that we gripe about the number of guest houses, I mean, yes and no. Like, there's definitely room for more. The only like the red flag going off in my mind is how many different people have contacted me and said either I'm moving to your area or I've already purchased property, I'm opening a guest house, and they think they're the only other one, and they don't know that like 12 to 15 other people have also contacted me and said the exact same thing, but none of those people have, you know, and I'm sort of like in the middle, trying frantically to connect everyone and say, have you met this person? Have you met this person? Have you met this person? Like, let's all get together and network and connect, rather than having like, that's the one time that I don't want to be the community hub with all these spokes coming off, you know, like everyone is contacting me, but then I want everyone to be in contact, like a wheel of connectivity.
But so that's for sure a big growth signal. You know, I mean, this is one of maybe the only time in my life where I've gotten ahead of the wave and I've seen all these people. So because when we first started, we were the first guest house, right? I mean,
The first
reasonably, yeah, we were the first. We were definitely the first. Well, Olivier, but he's married to a Japanese woman.
And he's on the other
side of the island. So anyway, we're really at the beginning of like this movement, which is now getting like squished perhaps by the national government. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. You know, but I mean, but the numbers are great, right? The economics of it are great for us. The tourism here is really starting to boom, take off. And again, it's just always really interesting to realize like that this has only been an option for 20 years. The bridge has only existed for 20 years. So you get off the bridge, you get onto Omishima, and there's just not a lot, you know? There's like the main stretch where you would be like resorts, etc. That just is not built yet. It's waiting, you know. It's waiting for someone to buy those lots
It's
and
just
put
beginning.
stuff there.
It's beginning to be built.
Yeah, and we're basically here right on the ground floor of it. And when you look at those other regions that are perhaps in more need of rebuilding in Japan, do they have the tourism that we would have here? You know, that's the issue.
Julie says, isn't that like a Chamber of Commerce function to tell potential new guest houses how many they already have in the pipeline?
Yeah, but
I would say
they're not.
absolutely if you're in the U.S. where people actually contact the Chamber of Commerce. So I used to volunteer with our small rural Oregon community Chamber of Commerce, and just sort of like help in various means, running events and also just sitting in the office and waiting for people to walk in and ask questions. And that's absolutely what the Chamber of Commerce, which was separate but worked alongside the city government as like two separate entities, would work on exclusively, you know, not just promotion of the area, but exclusively connecting businesses and just making everyone aware of what the needs are and, you know, like what needs to be filled and then what is possibly like reaching its capacity, that sort of thing. Now the Chamber of Commerce here is very helpful in that they played a role in helping us put together our subsidy application. So they were not actually involved in the subsidy, but they were a part of the long process that we've gone through over the past year plus. But I'm not entirely sure I'm not entirely sure what services they offer, to be honest. So, and that's on me. We did go in there. That was one of the very first things that we did when we moved to Omishima. Is I said, well, we have to go to the Chamber of Commerce and introduce ourselves.
Thanks to you, since you had that experience, which I certainly did not.
Yeah, that was literally one of the very first things we did was go visit the Chamber of Commerce. But I don't know that other people are thinking of that.
See, the thing is that they're not contacting the Chamber of Commerce; they're contacting you, right? And then another issue is they don't speak Japanese. Okay, like I speak Japanese, and as far as we've seen in all of these, I don't know, perhaps a dozen or so applications, I'm like the only person in the entire thing that speaks Japanese of any of these applications that we've consulted on
Applications?
for getting a business manager visa here.
Oh, yeah,
So that's I don't know why, with respect to Danny, why you would move somewhere where you can't talk to the people. But that's another thing is just, and that's an indicator too, like where you get like one restaurant. I remember reading this article about like America's hip new food city we were going and we were waiting for an airplane in an airport. I read it on my phone, and it was a series on like, I think it was Portland, but it was saying how, like the one restaurant comes out with some sort of, I don't know, food that becomes trendy, and then like 16 other restaurants open up copying their model basically, and that is, out of those like 16 restaurants, maybe like 4 or 5 of them are successful, and then they sort of like cover up the original design. But it's an indicator, like when you have all these copycats coming in, that you are onto something special. And if you just have the sort of wherewithal, and if you have a good execution and a good plan to stick with, you have those indicators that your plan is a good one, and as long as you can just execute it, you will be successful there. So
I guess long story short, the island just needs more
stuff.
Things to do, activities, and more restaurants, more in various neighborhoods around the island. Things like infrastructure, like scooter rentals, experiences, that sort of thing. We've got like stand-up paddleboard companies, that seems to be pretty much covered. But water activities, outdoor activities, scuba diving, yeah, that would be cool. I've never seen anyone doing that. I don't know if that's good to do around here. FPC football suggested scuba diving. But that's the kind of thing that I think would be really, 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 like, that's what we need we need the guest houses and the infrastructure to rise at the same time, not lopsided one way or the other. If you have way too many things to do and attract too many people, but they have nowhere to stay, you have a problem. If you have a million places for people to stay, but then they get bored and they only stay one night, that's also a problem. So we want, and this goes for our area, but also all the rural areas. So this is not, what I'm saying now is not location specific at all. It just has to do with revitalization and building of a tourist destination. Is you need the accommodations and the activities and the things to do to keep guests busy to rise together.
Yeah. No, we've talked about this a lot, and we've seen a lot of people who just think it's sort of like a, magic bullet to just open up an Airbnb in Japan. And some places like Tokyo, where there's plenty of draws, it probably is, let's face it. But in a lot of places where it's more rural, it's just, you're gonna have to also create a reason for people to come to that.
And
Airbnb.
Also the government seems to be specifically calling out people who are opening accommodations under the business manager visa and no other service.
It is a low-hanging fruit, like, let's be honest. Like, it's obvious why people do this is because it takes the lowest amount of investment to get going, and so You know, on the other hand, though, it could be that when they're opening up these millions of Airbnbs, it means that, you know, the hundreds of thousands of restaurants are just around the corner, you know. So that's, I mean, it's somewhere in between those two extremes is the truth, right? Where it's going to happen. There is going to be this growth. Um, yeah. So Pietro says, are there many beekeepers on Omishima? More bees are great for the environment, but I wonder if you had difficulty with rules/regulations on the distance between your beehives and theirs. There are a lot of beekeepers on Omishima, which
Yeah,
is
it's a
great.
great place for bees.
There's a lot of citrus, which is basically, you know, goes in hand with the bees. We did have to work with other beekeepers to find a good place to put our bees. But it's not crowded by any means, I would say. So I mean, we could easily accommodate quite a few more beekeepers. I mean, I don't know. On our island, there's like 15, I would say, 12 or 15 beekeepers, and we know personally maybe half of them. And of those, several of them are getting on in years and looking to retire. So, you know, the number of beekeepers who are like our age or younger is a pretty small proportion of that. So, it's not a problem, I would say. You know, the number of beekeepers on Omishima, I would say it's an asset too because of just what the place has to offer.
Absolutely, because we can all help each other, and we've said this before, where the concept of the rising tide
Lifts all boats.
lifts all boats. So, like, we talk with our honeybee mentor about, you know, we can make Omishima known for honey. As one of the Omishima is already known for all the different citrus varieties. Well, what if it's also becomes known for citrus honey, or just honey in general?
In my cherry blossom hedges.
So working together, you know, even though we are competitors, here's a chance to use my favorite buzzword, co-opetition. So, you know, we are technically competitors because we're all selling honey, but we're all working together to, you know, make Omishima known for honey. And then people seek out, oh, Omishima citrus honey, you know. So we can help each other, and then we can help market the area's honey as well. So definitely. And I think it is the same, you know, with all aspects of our business. So I do think it's also the same for, you know, guest houses. And in the future, when we open a taco stand, we will be part of the restaurant community as well. And so we will be looking to, yes, we'll be competing with other restaurants, but we'll be working together with them to build each other up.
Yeah. Well, and this is just a unique aspect of Japanese culture and the Japanese business landscape is the co-opetition thing is just baked in, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so Danny mentioned honey, and again, the big thing here is citrus, and this is the way that the Japanese rural economy particularly works. Is a place just becomes they just decide that like citrus is growing there, okay? And so, like the island to the north of us, Ikuchijima is known for lemons. Are the Ikuchijima lemons better than the Omishima lemons? No, but they have a bad reputation, you know. And so, similarly, like guest houses, I think that the guest house type of experience is going to be like it's going to become a thing that people do. They're going to come, you know, as a family or as a group of friends. I think that it's going to become a thing that people do is they rent a guest house out in the rural Japan to get away for the weekend and have a barbecue or play Famicom and, you know, watch old movies or things like that. Have a Natsukashi experience. I think that's coming around. And also, I think, you know, this is going to sound really silly to people, but we had someone come to us from Tokyo who said they wanted to open up a hot sauce business on Omishima back like 2 years ago when we had just finished one of our first guests at the guest house, and they said, "Well, would we be stepping on your toes?" And I had to explain this concept to them, and we haven't heard from them yet, so
Yeah.
they didn't get my explanation was not good, I guess, but. I mean, so you could have...
That you were being welcoming to them and saying, no, by all means.
I was saying, please do.
Yeah,
I mean, so if we had, you know, so there's plenty of room for, like, a rising tide lifts all boats, and specifically in Japan, like, America does not work this way, you know? Like, people in America only want the best tacos. But if it turns into a situation where, like, you go there, you know, like, long story short, Omishima could sustain that's might not. It's not. I had said this to Danny like half jokingly the other day, but it's not the question of how many guest houses can Omishima can sustain. It's how many taquerias can Omishima sustain. You know,
Yeah.
and it turns into an afternoon of like going to all the different taquerias.
Yeah. Like we used to do in Portland, where we would have themed, like appetizer happy hour hopping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or there was that one street where we could go to all the different sushi places and have one beer and a couple of sushis and then walk down to the next.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's the just go to the taco district of Omishima
Yeah.
and you get one taco at each place and there you go. Bar crawl for tacos, FPC football.
Yeah. Stamp rally.
Stamp rally, yes. That's a big thing here. I didn't really know. But for festivals and just for fun promotional events. There was one that we didn't participate in, but our local Omishima brewery had a little pamphlet for, and there was maybe a dozen breweries in
Ehime. All the
Ehime.
Ehime breweries that were participating.
And so if you went during a couple of month window and got a stamp from each one of those breweries, you got a shirt or you won a prize or something. So, yeah. There's lots of opportunity like that. I love that. And, maybe, like, I feel like in the U.S., volunteering with the Chamber of Commerce and the Visitors Center, like, that was one thing that they were trying to get going. They wanted businesses to work together in that way. And, obviously businesses come together for annual community events, but beyond that, there's not a whole lot of connections going on. I'm not talking about it like any specific businesses or anything, but I felt like they were trying to build that. And here in Japan, it's like that. Like Evan said, it's already here. So there's the framework is in place for businesses to work together, and you just have to be open to that and willing to give as much as you get back in return.
Yeah, and I hope that, and hello to Sheldon, who just showed up.
Hello,
Thank you.
Sheldon Plankton, and Pietro says, keep it up. You're doing great work. More bees will no doubt help the island's citrus grow. That's true.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that, with the people who move here from abroad, I hope that they get this. I hope that they, understand this concept and embrace it, because I think it's worthwhile,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't love everything about Japan, but I love this aspect of Japan, I love weeding my field and looking over the neighboring field and saying, hey, neighbor, And I love that people are getting ready for Obon.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone is out cleaning up the streets and weed whacking their fields, getting everything pretty,
Everybody gets their own properties looking pretty, and then they help everyone else get their properties looking pretty, and then they, the parts of the sidewalk that the city can't come weed whack even. You see the neighbors are picking up the slack there, and next weekend is our Matsuri, Matsuri festival. And so we've got 1 week to get everything looking perfect. So you'll be out there weed whacking. Huh?
It's okay, the weather's nice now, so I don't mind weed whacking.
Julie says you could start a Santa Con. Do you mean like the Portland thing?
I think that means you dress up as Santa and
Yeah, and run around.
get drunk, yeah.
Yeah.
Punch heretics.
Big Chuck's Ostrich Farm says, totally agree, was looking at more markets to sell at and ended up talking to a Chamber of Commerce rep, and she gave me contact info to a bunch of restaurants in the area. Yep. FPC Football says dress up as Santa and deliver tacos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I don't know what to call you, Big Chuck. I don't want to call you your ostrich's name, but I bet there's. Well, you talked about this on a previous live stream. There's that there's like 10 ostriches in Japan, right? And when we did the turkey for Thanksgiving, our Lawrence sent us turkey, and I smoked it, and the response was like, mind blowing from the people. And we even our friends have a petting zoo on Oshima, and they asked me to cook a turkey for for their grand opening of their petting zoo, and I was like, you can only get those for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But so Japanese people love weird food, and
They love trying new
I'm
food.
sure. I don't know. I'm sure we could make it work if you wanted to send us some ostrich meat. For
We
our
made
tacos.
a silly little video called Burn Barrel Thanksgiving, and that was it was Omishima's very first Thanksgiving. Thanks to Coco Lencho, Japan, sending us some Thanksgiving treats from the American store on the military base. So he surprised us with turkey and stuffing and fresh cranberries. And that wasn't last Thanksgiving. It was the Thanksgiving before, wasn't it?
No, it was last Thanksgiving.
It was last Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe we're coming up on Thanksgiving number 2 for Omishima then. So we just invited a bunch of our neighbors over, and they all had turkey and a lot of the things they were having for the very first time I was surprised at. What other things was it? Did you make a pumpkin pie?
Did I make pumpkin pie? I don't
And
remember.
stuffing they
Yeah, I
had
made
never
pumpkin-
had. And turkey was just a
Sweet
huge hit.
potatoes.
When Evan brought the turkey in, just the size of the turkey. I mean, everyone was just like filming and so excited. And then we gave a bunch of leftovers to our friends.
Yeah, neighbors and
Other neighbors got leftovers.
Yeah. Also, the Inoshishi, the wild boar co-op on the island, they sell throughout Japan. So they sell to high-end restaurants in Tokyo and Osaka. So I'm sure they have interest in ostriches too. Just gonna throw that out there. I don't know if you need any more outlets for your sales.
Interesting. Sob says pumpkin pie, yum. Come on over. Let's have a Thanksgiving. No, we've been promising a taco party too, though, to some of our neighbors. So looks like it's coming up on Thanksgiving time, but we gotta have a taco party too.
Waholote.
Yeah. I have to block off the guest house and do those kinds of things in the guest house kitchen because we can't host events at our own house yet, but someday. Evie likes entertaining.
Yeah.
I like visiting. I like having visitors and guests. Julie says, oh, boar. Does that mean boar? Boat? Boar? Would be cool for Christmas instead of KFC? Yeah, for sure. They should do that. Yes, boar.
Boar and KFC.
Yeah.
No, KFC's weird.
They love the KFC for Christmas. We were walking around a while back, and some farmer in their field just has a random big plastic KFC Christmas bucket that they're using for watering their plants. I thought that was cute. There's not a KFC around here that I know of, so I don't know where they got it from. Sob says wild boar is underrated. Yeah. If you like wild boar, come here. I mean, we've got 3 wild boar restaurants on the island, and...
Soon to be a 4th.
Oh, the tacos? Well, not soon, but eventually. FPC Football says KFC franchise opportunity. Yeah, there might be a niche to fill here.
Popeyes.
Yeah, they just started advertising the Christmas cakes at the Family Mart and the Lawson convenience store. So get your orders in for Christmas cakes. And do they do chicken or turkey? Is it turkey?
Fried chicken?
Yeah.
That would be chicken.
Yes, but do you have to order it?
Yeah. You have to order it ahead of time.
Okay.
They also sell it there, but...
But it's fried chicken with like turkey seasoning. That's why I was confused. It's very sagey, very sage heavy, the seasoning that they use around the holidays. The Christmas cakes are great though.
Christmas cakes are great.
Oh yeah. Sob says, would franchising a restaurant fulfill any business manager requirements? That's a good question.
Yeah,
I really have
I'm
no
sure.
idea.
I'm sure it would. I don't know anything about that, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
You'd probably be better off. Well, yeah, it's the capital the capital investment there would be one thing, and then getting yourself sponsored would be the other thing. So maybe you have a rich friend who you can convince to start a franchise, and then they can just sponsor you as the manager.
Well, if you were going to use the franchise restaurant as your business manager business, that might work.
Yeah, yeah. If you had the capital for it,
Yeah.
then you could. Yeah, if you could buy a franchise, yeah.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
Well,
Big Chuck says, is there like seasonal Japanese music that slowly creeps in, like Christmas music in the US? That's a good question.
the thing about holidays in Japan is they don't really do anything for them. It's really sort of strange coming from the United States, but that's something you'll hear is that Japanese people really like how Americans do stuff for holidays, and even when it's commercialized and etc. Like they're like, wow, you actually do stuff for Christmas and Halloween. And the Japanese holidays were all established during the Meiji era, and they're all just sort of, I don't know, like respect for the aged day, and there's Ocean Day, and there's Mountain Day, and it's all just sort of like, I don't know. At one point, I think they were like a Shinto holiday that they sort of covered up with just like a bland secular version of that. But so there's like remnants of the cultural thing to it, but nowadays they're getting the commercialized Christmas stuff and the commercialized Halloween stuff and the commercialized Valentine stuff. But I mean, at least it's something.
FPC Football is asking, Christmas is like a couple's holiday in Japan, right? Yeah, we were just talking about this with our business consultant and our accountant over lunch last week, how the concepts of the holidays in Japan and America are a little bit reversed, where in America, of course, Christmas is spent with family, and the New Year's is like your dating holiday, or sometimes family too, but you think of it more as like a romantic or couples holiday. And here in Japan, it's reversed, where I guess Christmas is more of the couples holiday, and then New Year's is when everything closes down and you have your big multi-day family gathering. But I've only been in Japan for a couple Christmases and New Year's, so I'm definitely not an expert on that.
The autumn equinox was also a day off. It's also
Yes.
it's a national holiday, and that was one of the days that we did
The honey tasting.
The honey tasting, yeah, which is the actual like astronomical equinox, which is the 23rd.
And Saab says in big metropolitan cities they do play Christmassy jazz music. Yeah, we didn't really notice anything around here. They did decorate the convenience stores. They did throw up some Christmas decorations in the stores. They had little Christmas trees on the tables.
Which is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on 10 o'clock, so we got a couple minutes left. If we have any last minute questions or anything you guys want to throw out there and say, this was another good chat.
If anyone wants to, give us a super chat, contribute to that taco party goal, that would be much appreciated.
But it's always good to visit with you all. We've got a lot of regulars in our little community here now, so we really look forward to the live streams. It's always good to talk to everyone and hear your ideas.
Has there been a definite date set forth for when the visa changes are to occur?
Matthew, that is not exactly clear. According to the PDF instructions from immigration on the eGov website, the new changes will be announced early October and then implemented mid-October. So there is no exact announcement date. But if you missed the earlier part of the stream, the public opinion period has closed on September 24th. So right now, behind the scenes, immigration is sorting through those opinions, I would imagine, and then they'll be making an announcement early October and then implementing mid-October, but there's no exact date.
Sob says, thanks for the live stream again. Hope
Thank
to visit in the
you.
future. Yeah, hope to see you on Japanese soil.
Yeah, but first your own visa. Good luck with that as well too. So
Let us know what we can do to help.
yep, we've got a great little group here. Lots of people just who like to visit Japan. Lots of people hoping to move to Japan. And some of y'all live in Japan already. So
Yeah. So thanks, Matthew. Thanks, Big Chuck, for making it. Yeah, so this was a slow month, just for the obvious reasons. So we didn't get a lot of questions. So
everybody's in the waiting game right now. So we're just waiting until the announcements. Pietro says thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for participating. All right. We'll see you guys next month. Let's hope we've got some good news over the month of October. Hoping the best for ourselves and for everybody. So we'll see you next month. And I'm sure when announcements come out, we'll probably have some form of communication around that time as well. So keep you posted. October is going to be a big month. Lots of news coming out. So have a good one, everybody.
sayonara.